Well, this is weird. Alright. Okay. Bear with me, guys. I have no clue what I'm doing. I don't usually do live streams at all. Can you hear me okay? Alright, cool. Alright, there's a bit of delay, so try to figure that out. Alright. This is kind of weird. Yeah, so basically my goal was just to kind of occasionally stream when I'm working and see how that goes. I don't think I'll need any moderators. I mean, I'm not sure yet. Is it a little low? Okay, hold on, I'll turn it up. Is that a little better? Uh, let's see. Okay, awesome. That's good. No, don't have an ETA on V4 yet. It's just, it'll get done when it gets done, you know what I mean? But, uh, but yeah. Alright, so I was thinking about doing like a voice chat on Discord too. So I might jump in there. Alright, hold on. Alright, so I made a voice chat in the Discord server. I don't know if you can see that yet. But if you want to hop on there and talk, it's not going to come over the stream, but I'll be able to hear it. Might be easier than just chatting on the comments. See, I'm not sure how that's going to work though. I mean, I'm still getting used to this, so I don't know what format I like best. But if someone wants to try to hop on and see if it works, that'd be cool. I don't know. It should be on the. Okay, hold on. Let me see then. I'll have to edit it. Let's see here. Oh, there we go. That's right. Permission wasn't set up.
Arigato, konnichiwa.
There we go.
Okay. That's weird. Alright, it's working.
Arigato, konnichiwa.
And it's definitely coming over through the stream.
Oh, it is?
Hey,
Okay.
what's up? It's Zontic.
Hold on then. Yep, alright. Alright, maybe this is a bad idea. I don't know. Yeah. See, I'm not used to voice chats or anything like that, but I don't know. We'll see. All right. I don't know. Just like, do you think voice chatting is a good idea? I'm not really sure. Maybe I'll keep it to the comments. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, my goal was. All right, hold on. See, I want to see if this stream will come through on the, or the audio will come through on the thing. Okay, so some people are saying keep it to the comments, no voice. Okay, yeah, that. Yeah, so I'm thinking I'll probably just keep it to the comments then, because it's gonna be hard for me to hear and like respond to stuff. Okay, yeah, that was a. Yeah, that's true. All right, so I didn't know how many people were gonna jump on there or not. I mean, like ideally I could have like some sort of like casual hangout, but I'm just not sure if that's gonna be able to work. Um, just the amount of people. Like I don't even know how to see the amount of viewers right now. Right now it's telling me there's none. Okay, wait, now there's 49. Okay. Yeah, all right. Uh, let's see. Yeah, I don't know what kind of stream I'm doing right now. Again, this is just kind of like a spur of the moment thing. I thought about doing it on the like just this morning and oh man. Well, so okay, so V4 is going to be an update to version 3. So, yeah, it's just going to it'll be free. I mean, I wish I could have like some sort of paid update, but the marketplace doesn't have that, you know. You're not able to do that right now on the marketplace. The functionality is just not there. Yeah, I was going to show that in a second. Just hang on as I just try to configure some stuff. I have like a second screen going on here, so you can't really see that right now, but okay. Yeah, alright, I guess I'll just get into it then, huh? Yeah, so when it was free, it was basically just so Unreal has like these sponsored monthly content things on the marketplace. So like every month they release stuff for free, and I submitted back in I guess back in the fall, and then I got the month of April. So yeah. Okay. Well, I'm just gonna start working, I guess, and feel free to just ask questions. I don't know. um. Yeah. Let's see. 22. So. Yeah, it's a good idea, because the comments are going to be kind of overwhelming. Alright, well, I'm just going to get started then. So right now I just didn't have a plan. I was just going to... I'm kind of working on turning in place at the moment. But, not sure how to do that. Well, I know how to do it, I just don't know how. Okay. I received a small payment. It wasn't like it wasn't the amount of like the same amount as the people bought it. So it was about, I mean, I don't know if I can say the amount, but it was a decent payment. I use Maya actually. All right, so I know you guys can't see my second screen, but I'm just trying to figure out what I want to be streaming and what I don't want to be streaming. So, hopefully my computer doesn't die. I got a lot of stuff open. Yeah, I've been offered jobs, but usually I just don't take them. I like working on my own things. But yeah, I did work on Splitgate for a little bit. I'm streaming with Streamlabs. Yeah, I don't know. So right now I'm not working on the climbing. I'm trying to finish version 4. And then after I get done with that, then I'll move on to climbing full time. So, yeah. Okay, hold on. Cool. Alright, so I'm just going to be animating for a little bit. Might be boring, might not. I'm not really sure. I mean, it depends on what you guys want to see. Do you want to see like stuff in the engine or all of it? Okay, hold on. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm pretty much completely self-taught. So, started learning in high school and just kind of went from there. Yeah, so I wish I could show you how to add to the animation blueprint, but so the problem is, or let me put it this way, like, so there's like a billion and one ways to structure an animation graph, right? Like, it's completely flexible. Like, just with the Unreal animation system, there's so many ways to do it. So, if I make an animation graph, what works for me might not work for you, and what works for one project might not work for another project. So, when it's like, there's no one way to do any specific thing. It's all dependent on your project and like the animations that you have and all that kind of stuff. So, within the systems that I've made, I pretty much just show like a way to do it. It's not the right way, it's not the only way, it's just kind of one way to do it. So I guess the best way to use this system is kind of as like a template or like just kind of like a learning resource. Like it doesn't have to be the final state of anything, and you can always just change stuff around. But in terms of like the animation graph, it's hard to say like the right way to do it simply because there is no right way to do it. It's just kind of like, so it's all dependent on like the animations that you have and the needs of your project. So, I mean, you could structure it like any way you need it. So yeah, it's just a really hard question. And I know I get asked that a lot, but again, it's just like I don't really have any direct answers because I don't know the specifics of your project and stuff like that. But yeah, I guess one thing I could do for the first stream is kind of show off the next version and kind of show you the kind of things that I'm doing here. What's different from V3 and V4? Basically everything again. I mean, it's going to be a back-end rework. Like, as I learn new things, I kind of reapply them back into the system, so it's a constant progression. So in terms of like new features, there's going to be a few new things, like upper body animations, some climbing stuff. But yeah, hold on. Let me just disable this real quick. Yeah, so the animation graph is going to be completely different. Simply because now that I want to do some upper body layering stuff, it just needs to support a lot more. So right now, here, let me just jump into the level real quick. How is the frame rate, by the way? Can you guys like, is it smooth or is it stuttering? Okay, cool. Yeah, so I'll just show off kind of the new stuff. I mean, there's not a lot of like stuff to show off right now because a lot of it's still in the back end. But in terms of like the new features, and a lot of these animations are going to be placeholder, so don't worry if the quality is kind of low. So I have some basic climbing and mantling stuff. And then a big thing is upper body animations. So the goal is kind of to be able to make upper body states really easily without having to like redo a whole bunch of extra locomotion stuff. So if you see here, I can have like rifle animations on top of the normal locomotion. So another cool thing is like first person as well. So that's going to be one of the biggest updates for the next version. And all these all these rifle poses, they're just a few animations, and then I kind of like dynamically lock the feet, so all the transitions are easy to make and stuff like that. So like this turn in place animation is the same as the one when the feet are apart. Like those are both the same animations. It's just kind of like adjusted. Yeah, it's all keyframe. So I'm not using the default mannequin here simply because I got bored of it, but it's the same skeleton. So if I pull this up, let's see. Yeah, so it's the same thing. So if I want to change the preview mesh, let's see. So Alexander, yeah, so let me show off kind of like the guts of this system and why it works the way it does. So within the upper body states, and it's just a separate state machine, I have a whole bunch of like just full body animations. So let me just pull up these animations now actually. Okay. So basically, for the rifle, right, I have just a few, like an aim pose, a crouched aim pose, and then like a vertical aim sweep, as well as like a ready pose and like a relaxed pose. And then I have them in these states here. So like relaxed, I have all these different poses. Aiming, I have the aim pose with the aim sweep additive. And these are essentially all full body stuff. I don't do any layering within that state machine. And then in a separate state machine, I have this layering graph. So I use animation curves to layer on different animations on the onto basically just layer everything together. So there's a lot of flexibility in what you can do. So if I were to plug in the upper body states, you can see what I'm talking about. So if I were to just use those animations, so you see that the rifle stuff is just all full body. So you see there's no locomotion here. But once everything gets layered together, then it animates correctly. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out the best way to explain all of this. It's hard to explain something that's complex like this because I have it all in my head and I know how it works, but it's hard to kind of like explain it via a video. And in version 4 I'll have like documentation, so I'll try to like explain everything that I'm doing here. So I don't think I'll be able to add crawling Temix because and I went into this in the Discord a while ago, I think, but so in order to do like any sort of like prone or crawling states, I mean animation wise I could do it. The problem is that the character blueprint, because I use the kind of the default character class, it has like a vertical capsule, and so there's no way to kind of change that collision to support kind of like a prone or crawling character, because there's a lot of calculations that need a vertical capsule. So even if I had the animations, it would be hard to kind of work it with the collision and the movement, and all that stuff could kind of get messy. So for right now, um, I'm just going to keep it with standing and crouched. I mean, it's obviously something you could add in the future, but I can't do everything, so. You might be able to rotate the capsule, but then a whole bunch of other calculations can kind of get messed up. I wouldn't say it's a godlike solution. I mean, there's still some limitations to it, but it is pretty flexible. So, essentially, so within all these upper body stuff, if you see these modify curve nodes, this essentially defines what the layering is going to look like. So let me just demo that real quick, I guess. So I'll move this stuff down. Okay. So basically, all of the layering is done through animation curves. So if you see all these curves here, the UBA, that stands for upper body animation. And then I have, the head, the left arm, the right arm, the spine, and the pelvis. And so using these animation curves, you can kind of define like how everything's going to blend together. So for right now, within the relaxed state, I just have the right arm. So if you see, only the right arm is active there. And everything else just kind of works. So if I were to maybe set the blend weight to like 0.5, you'll see now it's weighted to 0.5. Obviously the hand's not going to line up, but you see how it kind of has like a little bit of motion there? So if I wanted to fix that, I could add in the right hand. And so, let's see here. Yeah, so now the arm is like half weighted, but the hand is all weighted. So you can have, a lot of flexibility in how you layer everything together. So that's just that one pose, and you can do a whole bunch of stuff with it. So I can also like mask out the aim offset and the additive idle all through the animation curves. Yeah, Temix, that's actually something I was thinking of doing by adding like a pose that's like blocked. So you hold the gun up or something like that. Just haven't done that yet. But you definitely could, and the system makes it pretty easy to do that actually. So yeah, so once everything gets plugged in, let's see. Advantages of using a character BP. Yeah, so this is something I've kind of debated a lot. And I'm sticking with the character BP right now, mostly because it's a little bit simpler, right? So, like I could have a component but the problem with that is you can't really have timelines in the component, and so you'd be kind of bouncing logic back and forth. Um, so I think for right now, uh, keeping everything within the character blueprint is just kind of like it's all in one place. It's a little bit more simple. And obviously, if you wanted to for your project, take some of that stuff out into another component or whatever, you could definitely do that. But yeah. So yeah. So if you see here, like so within this relaxed state, I have different blends that are controlled through other animation curves that define, like, so if he's falling, I play different falling poses or a landing pose. If he's crouching, I'll have a different pose for that. Different animations for, if he's sprinting and everything. And these are all layered on top. So, and so just different animations per different states. But it's all up to you on how you want to, like, I guess, make these upper body states. So for like a pistol, I haven't set all this up yet. These are all still using kind of the rifle animations. But let's see here. Let me see if this works. Oh, wait, hold on. Forgot to disable the left arm. IK. Yeah, see, these are like the pistol poses. So you see how it's pretty flexible, how I kind of reuse all the locomotion stuff, and then just have these upper body animations in these different states, and then layer everything together through animation curves. Let's see here. Read the comments more. So yeah, for people that join late, yeah, it's just kind of a random stream. I'm just going over random stuff. I didn't really have any plan, but so new ideas for the next version? Is that what you're asking? Yeah, I did consider swimming, but I'm trying to keep the scope down. I can't do everything. So, but hopefully it'll be pretty easy to set that up if you need to do that for yourself. That would just it could be a whole separate state within the main state machine. You could just have a separate swimming state. So yeah. So back to what I was going to do. I think I was doing turning in place. Yeah, I mean, like, obviously, I could do, it's easy to get carried away, and it's hard to kind of support. So, okay, let me try to explain. So one of the biggest difficulties is working with a marketplace system is that I have no idea what the final result is going to be like. Like, I don't know what your game is going to need, or right? So it's like, so 99% of the time, if you're ever designing like an animation system or an animation graph, you're going to be doing it for one specific game, right? Like the game that you're making, you're going to design everything for that game. Um, and so you're going to know like what animations you need, what the player is going to be able to do, all that stuff. And so that's going to kind of influence your decisions and when you're making your animation system. But for me, I really have no idea like what people are going to use it for. So I have to keep things pretty generic, but also make them really flexible. So it's kind of like this strange middle ground where it's like hard to like a lot of time is taken up figuring out the best way to go about doing something and making it like as flexible as possible. But again, like what something that might work for someone isn't going to work for someone else, so there's always like a balance. So in terms of like swimming or like all these other movement modes, it's like I could do those. That would take a lot of time, first of all. But I'm just trying to keep it simple so that people are able to add what they need. This isn't supposed to be like a plug and play, already complete, feature ready thing. You know what I mean? It's like it's just one part of the process, and game development's obviously really difficult, so you're going to be needing to add in a lot of stuff as you go on. You know, as you're going along, you kind of have to add in what you need, and I can't do all of that, so I just kind of have to figure out what's the most important. Um, so obviously doing some of the upper body layering, that was a heavily requested thing. How are full body montages handled? Um, yeah, you could just do that within a different slot. I don't have any hooked up right now, but like a full body slot, you could just do that like after everything. So you could just add in a slot like right here or something like that, where you have like full body animations, right? And that would just take over anything else that's going on. So, but again, that would come down to like how you want your animations to blend together. I mean, maybe you want that slot to be somewhere else. Like it really depends. Um, yeah, so I'm gonna Jester. I'm definitely gonna be doing documentation. That's something that I know I'm missing right now, and so I'm gonna do my best to fully document everything. I mean, even then, it's gonna be difficult to like make guides on how to do things simply because there's no one way to do anything. There's always like a million ways to do something, and that's all gonna come down to you know the needs of your specific project. But I'll do my best. When when playing a montage, like doing combat and the character turns, that just must be how your slots are set up. Like if you have your character turning in place animations in the same slot as your combat animations, it's going to cancel out once you play an animation on top. So, I mean, it depends. Like if you're trying to layer stuff, I don't really know how to answer. But yeah, okay. So I'm gonna just start working, I think. I'm not sure if I'll be able to like keep looking in the chat. But okay. Man, I'm tired. So right now I'm just doing some animation, and I hate doing animation, but I have to, so whatever. I don't really consider myself an animator. I'm more of a designer, but animation is just something that I have to do, so I mean, what can you do, right? Let's see. So I'm just doing some crouch turning in place. This might be kind of boring. I don't know if you want to watch this, but again, I don't know how the stream or what I was going to be doing, so just kind of let me know. Yeah. I should have shot like video reference, but I did not. And I'm streaming right now, so I don't want to stop and do that. So I'm just gonna have to wing it. Let's see here. Well, no, actually. Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, I already had these animations, but well, actually, I lost the files. So I'm kind of remaking them. Plus, there's like slightly different poses, and I'm trying to do a little bit higher quality. But yeah. So I wish I didn't have to because it takes a lot of time. But yeah. But I'm probably just gonna be really quick and not polish these because I just want to test some stuff out in the engine. This is probably really boring to watch. Yeah, that sucks. Okay. So it's kind of hard to focus when you're animating and trying to read the chat and knowing that a whole bunch of people are looking at what you're doing. This is a new experience for me. Oh my goodness, let me see how many people are watching. 58, okay. Cool. I don't know if I plan on doing more. I mean, hopefully, it's just gonna be, I'm just trying it out right now. So, I don't know if it's gonna help me stay motivated with working or if it's just gonna be distracting or, not really sure. Once I get used to it, I'll have a better idea. But for now, it's hard to say. But don't worry if these animations look terrible. I know they do. It's just, I'm just trying to get them in a little bit. So. Okay, this will be Move the right foot earlier. Yeah, no, I'm thinking, yeah. I mean, it's kind of funny, like, this isn't something that people actually would do, turn in this way, right? Like, when you're crouching and you're on a knee, like, it's just kind of unnatural to do kind of like a 90-degree turn like that. But in terms of gameplay, it's like you kind of need it, because, you know, if you have standing turning in place, you kind of need crouching turning in place. So, but, let's see here. Actually, you know what? I want you guys to kind of see what I'm doing, so I'm going to put the graph editor here. Usually I don't animate like this, but whatever. I've not tried all right rig. Yeah, I could lead with the back foot, but I was doing this earlier, like I was on the floor just practicing, and it felt a little bit more natural to lead with the to kind of lead with the leading foot, essentially the front one. But once I get, I mean, like, so it doesn't look good right now, but once I start adjusting these poses, it'll look a little bit better. But, I mean, obviously right now it looks painful, but it shouldn't. So, and I mean, like, I'm just trying to test stuff out once I get this in the engine, so I don't really care if the animation isn't like really, really good right now. It definitely looks really strange, but I'm just kind of rushing. So, okay. So the motion always starts in the hip and then the body follows. Yeah, I mean, most of the time, yes. Let me see, I'm trying to visualize it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot video reference a little bit later after I stream, and I'll probably clean up this animation, but I'm just going to be really quick with it right now and get it into the engine, just so I can test out some of the turning in place logic. That's all. And this rig kind of makes it difficult to do stuff with the knee because the way it's set up, it's always kind of sliding all over the place. So, and there's no way to kind of lock it down or like pivot from the knee. You have to kind of pivot from the root. So just based on the rig, it's kind of difficult. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, so yeah. Okay, hold on. So now I need to... Nope, wrong button. Let's see here. So I want the root to also be rotating with that, so animate a little step between starting and end point of the right foot. Yeah, sorry I'm yawning. I'm kind of tired. It happens. But alright, so this will be fine for the engine though, and that's kind of what I'm doing right here. So I'll go back and clean this up later. At the moment, I'm just trying to let's see. Show you guys a little bit more of like the actual process. I think that's important. Let's see here. Oh, that's cool. They're already timed up. So turning in place works a little bit differently in this update. Essentially, it's driven through an animation curve that applies rotation over time. So the curve value represents the amount of rotation between the previous frame, or the current and previous frame. So the curve only goes up to negative 4.8, but when that gets applied over time, the character will rotate correctly. So if I force the root lock, yeah, so for right now, I'm kind of doing turning in place within states, but I might go back to using montages. I'm not really sure. I guess I could kind of like, I don't know, ask the question on the Discord and put it to a vote. There's advantages to both. But, so yeah. Have all these old animations in here too. Oh, I forgot to rename it. Duh. Yeah, camera collision, it's just a box. I mean, it's just a checkbox for it, yeah. You're right. Well, I didn't have it in the project. I forget why. Yeah, it's just something I didn't check. But, you know, it's a really simple thing. Just check that box. Let's see, where was I? You know what, I'm just gonna do this. Pick up and throw arbitrary objects. Oh man. Uh, I guess with this new system with upper body animations, that'd be easy to do. Well, I mean, relatively speaking, easy to do. But that would require me to have a whole bunch of extra logic in there for like handling the objects and picking them up and having some sort of inventory or something like that. So I mean, it's just like in terms of trying to keep the scope down, I just want to keep this animation related and not too much like gameplay logic. Um, Plus, I'm not even a programmer, so it's like everything that I do, I essentially learn first. So the same way Bethesda does it. You mean just kind of like picking up a physics object on the screen? I mean that kind of, I mean yeah, but like that goes away from focusing on the locomotion system. And I can't like make a game, you know what I mean? Like it's easy to ask for features and stuff like that, but like that's just not my job. Essentially. That's kind of the hard truth is that like I can't make my game for you. So um I can only do one little part. See if there's anything else I have to set up in here. Whoops. There we go. No, I'm not using root motion. Let's see, couldn't you make a blueprint that could be used? For each object, when extend the IK to it. Um, I don't really know what you. Let's see. I guess. I mean, that'd be really complex. But you could pretty much do anything, I guess. Yeah, so I don't have the foot locking curves on the feet, so you might see some strange behavior. But I'm also going to have to do some 180-degree turns, because right now I just don't have those animations in there, so it plays the other ones. Oh, another cool thing is that I don't even have any more. So in version 3, I have kind of like all these stopping transitions, but for this version, I don't. I just kind of use one single transition animation and then lock the feet down, so that you get those same results, just with not a whole bunch of animations. So yeah. But I'm not sure if I want to have the turning in place within different states or within a montage. Because for this, if it's in a different state, then I have to just manage a whole bunch of transitions. And I don't like doing that. Yeah, I have seen Gwen's approach. Single frame animations where the time is driven by yaw rotation. Yeah, I mean, again, like, there's kind of like 100 ways to do any given thing. And the reason I didn't want to use that is because, so, like, if you stop, I mean, I guess, like, I have to do one, like, I have to kind of lock down my design and do one thing. So, I could do that. I mean, I could do 100 different things, really. So, yeah, I mean, it does have its own limitations. But, I mean, you can start to see my kind of dilemma from day to day is that, like, there's always 100 things to do, so, like, and there's 100 different ways to do them, and I have to kind of pick one and then make it work. And yeah, so it's like if I wanted to do that, I'd have to integrate that into the system, or it'd be a bunch of stuff. I think I could adapt the system for quadrupeds. No. I mean, I won't. The reason for it is just like, sure, I mean, you could replace all the animations, but the IK stuff is specific for bipeds. But so yeah, it's like it would be a lot of work, and it's just not something that's on my plate right now. So yeah. Man, I haven't even eaten anything today. Probably should. When do you plan to launch it, and what's that models of a fountain in the back? Oh, that stuff I'm just testing the just climbing on complex collision. So, this is just testing for that. So as you can see, if I show the collision, I'm just tracing against the geometry. So there's no custom objects that you set up, it's just all dynamic. Swimming, climbing, and hanging. Yeah, I mean, like, again, this goes back to the scope of the project. Like, I could do those things, but it would just take a lot of time, and then it would just be more complex. So the larger the project gets, the harder it is to kind of fit into any sort of game. Like, I can't make a game, you know what I mean? This can't be completely feature complete, so I have to kind of make it, like, still kind of simple. So I can't do everything. But if you want, I do have the ledge detection stuff here. This won't be in version 4, this will be in a separate system, but I could kind of show it off. So I have this map I'm just using to test stuff. Yes, this is the dynamic climbing system. It's fully dynamic, so I don't have any animations right now, but you can see how it's kind of tracing against the geometry to detect the ledge. It's not perfect, but it actually works pretty well. And it's pretty flexible. And it does a decent job at detecting some more complex stuff. How easy will it be to combine them? Not too hard. I mean, I'm going to design them so they kind of work together. But, like, I can't... They're going to have to be separate systems because I can't, like, have them combined on the marketplace. Yeah. And that just comes down to, like, pricing, and I kind of want two different projects because, I am putting a lot of work into this, and so I can't really have it be free. So, yeah. But you can see that's just kind of how it works. So, but once I have animations, it'll look pretty cool. I'm actually surprised it works around this. I surprise myself sometimes. Yes, that's a little bit of the climbing, but that'll be a separate system. So I will have vaulting, or so like the basic mantling, like this kind of stuff. This will be in the next version, but the full-on ledge grabbing stuff. No locked in. Alright, I'm gonna go back to I was also kind of playing around last night with an AI character. I don't have any behavior trees yet, but let's see. Kind of disabled things. Kind of push him out of the way. So I'm just gonna look at me. Here you can see kind of how the footwork works, how the rotation gets handled and everything like that. So it can be used pretty well for NPCs and stuff, which is cool. Early access builds? No, I don't really think so. Because then it's like, I would feel like I'd have to support that. It'd just be kind of a headache. But, yeah, hopefully I can just finish it, you know, soon, so. No, I do not have this all networked yet. So that's something I'm gonna have to figure out. I think I'm gonna have to do two separate character blueprints to kind of have the best of both worlds for networking. Because unfortunately, the character blueprint kind of has all this built-in replication logic, but that makes it hard to do kind of your own custom movement. So in order to get the best, like, best of both worlds in terms of like full customization with single player and networking, I think I'm gonna have to split it up into two character blueprints. But the animation should be pretty much the same. So, yeah. So I think I'm gonna go back to working on this. Let's see. So if I were to do turning in place within a slot, let me see how that would work. Actually, no, wait. I don't have all my names set up yet, so the slot names are kind of all over the place. So, this says idle slot, but it's in the idle and movement, so it's just kind of all, just kind of testing out stuff. Just do. So I'm going to disable turning in place right now. Can I use input events in the actual character blueprint? I don't think I can. No. I don't know why I don't know that. Actually, see if this works real quick. No, I have the, hold on. Where do I have? Okay, so now I can turn with the button press. Wait, no. Wait a minute. Okay, now we're good. right. Okay, so if I have it in a slot, I'd still want the state machine to be able to update. But the problem with that is then the animation notifies won't trigger if this is checked. So if I do turning in place within a slot, I would need it to be additive so that the underlying state machine can still update in case it needs to kind of transition. So maybe I'll have to keep turning in place within these states and then try to figure out a way to make the transitions better. Because I don't know, I mean, like, I guess this is a question for the chat. Like, what, does this look too confusing? I mean, I can work with it, but okay. Yeah. Okay, I mean, cool. As long as, like, see, because if I had it within a montage, I'd be able to like control. Uh, I'd be able to kind of like re-trigger a turn in place. So, for instance, like I could start turning and then I could start turning again, or I could start turning and cancel and then turn into another animation. So there's a little bit more flexibility in like when you trigger the animations. You can also kind of like trigger them twice. So there's an advantage to that. I mean, if you have it all in the same states, then it's hard to like manage all those transitions in and out. So, yeah. But then if I had it in a slot, hmm. Yeah, I'm just trying to keep the simplicity. You know, I'm trying to make it not too complex. So in order to make, so if I had turning in place within a slot, right? I would want the state machine to still be able to update, which means that it couldn't override it, which means it would be an additive if I wanted the turning in place to be additive. But if I don't want that, then I would need a slot within these states. But then I would need two different slots because you would get an error if you have two of the same slots in different places of the graph. So it's kind of like, you know, if you do one thing, there's a whole bunch of drawbacks and you have to figure it out. So I could have like a standing turning in place slot and then a crouching turning in place slot, but then I would have to manage two different slots. So, oh man. Yeah, I might just have to kind of keep it within the state machine, which shouldn't be too bad. I mean, like, you're gonna have, yeah, there's always some sort of drawback somewhere. But it's just more complex to deal with all the transition logic. Unless it makes some sort of like, some sort of function that makes that easier. At least I can use shared transitions. So all these colored things, these are shared transitions. So I can set up logic once and then have the same logic in all these different transitions. So that's something I could do. I mean, that's something I am doing right here. Uh, yeah, I don't have those animations, so that's why it looks weird. What if I just do... Here, why don't I fix that? So another thing is if I had it within a slot, I wouldn't have to have a really long delay. So if you look in the animation, like I have a whole bunch of delay, like after he starts turning, he starts settling. And if I wanted to kind of re-trigger another turn in place before this happens, I could do that if it was in a slot. So, yeah, still debating. Maybe I should just flip a coin. That's honestly what I have to do a lot of the times, because there's like, back to what I was saying, there's like 100 ways to do any specific thing, so, you know, what works for, you know, if you do one thing, I don't know, it's just all confusing. Let's see. Is it possible if we can look at the distance-based anim for ledges? Yeah, so don't worry about all that stuff. Why don't you migrate your animations from your current versions? You upload or export them from your project, FBX. 'Cause they suck and I want to remake them. So I'm just gonna remake the animations. So if you, I mean, as you can see now, all the locomotion stuff is all new. So it's a new running, new sprints. Um, so, yeah. Notice the character reacts kind of weird when he hits a wall. I mean, what do you mean by react weird? Like you run into a wall, something's gonna happen, right? So if you hit a wall, you'll just kind of move along the wall. So, turns his legs. I mean, okay, so it's completely data driven, right? So the capsule moves in a direction because it's being influenced by the wall, and so the animations kind of have to match that, right? So yeah. All right, so back to the climbing. So essentially what I do, man, this will be hard if I can, I don't know if I'll be able to really explain it. So, because there's a good bit to it, and it can kind of be overwhelming. Okay, so basically what I do for climbing is, so I use a series of traces to get a point, right? And then I use a timeline to lerp to that location, but then I use a vector, like a vector curve to, hold on. can I even get, let's see here. So I use vector curves to control the correction. So the X curve controls the lerp between the character's starting location and the end location of the climb, and then the Y and the Z control like the correction. So when the Y lerps to, or it goes up to 1, he'll kind of like translate to the correct offset position. I don't know, it's hard to explain like without documentation, so I'll have to make documentation for all of this. But essentially the curves like define the correction period of the climb. So if you see right here, like if I go into slow-mo, when you start the climb up, you turn first and then jump up. Obviously the animation sucks, so don't worry about that. But if I were to change this correction period to like there, now the behavior's all different. So you can see like the hands don't land in the right places. So that's why I have this curve that can kind of define when you correct to the right offsets. And then the offsets are just values that you can save. So like the starting offset positions and stuff like that. So you could do it on like a per animation basis. So if you have a different climb animation that ends in a specific location or has a specific offset, then you can just set that up and then choose that right animation. And then, yeah. So it's hard to explain, but it works. So then I have 3 different climbing animations for the different heights. So I'll detect and I'll see like, okay, so how far or how tall is that ledge, and then choose like the correct animation that like best matches that height. And then it'll use that curve to kind of define how it climbs up. So there's no root motion, there's no there's nothing being animation driven. It's just kind of all through translating through a timeline. I mean, I'm still not like 100% locked down in how the vaulting gets handled. It might be a little different when the version comes out. I mean, there's always 100 ways to do it, so it's like, yeah. But yeah, I am pretty tired. Oh gosh, that was a weird animation there. I'll probably have to end the stream soon. Again, I was just kind of testing out streaming. This is the first stream I've ever done. But yeah. So I don't know. I mean, hopefully that gives you kind of a look into kind of what I'm doing here. The animation when you fall from an object is quite curious. So I just have some basic falling animations, but because I'm locking the feet, yeah, that's a kind of a bug I have to fix. So the feet get locked to that position, and then if you fall off, there's kind of like a jitter. So I will be fixing that, but that's just the IK stuff. So and because like it's complex collision, there's a whole bunch of strange movement when you're on top of here anyway. See, it's like, but don't worry, I'll be fixing that stuff. But the locking is kind of essential because I want to be able to use one transition animation between all these different poses So right now that I'm not kind of blended. Yeah, it's weird, but so like all of the so I don't have to do a whole bunch of custom stops for all these different poses. So that's why I lock the feet. But yeah, I'll have some basic weapon poses. I don't know if I'll be able to have like weapon handling logic in terms of like shooting and actual functional weapons. But I'm gonna have some animations, so melee weapons. No, I don't think so. I mean, I can't do everything, right? And yeah, so I think just some simple like weapon poses, like some guns, should be enough. But weapon logic as an add-on. I mean, like, yeah, but no. So, like, I'm not a programmer, so, like, it takes time for me to develop stuff. And if I do weapon logic, that would mean I would need, like, a whole logic system for handling weapons and shooting and damage and all that kind of stuff. And there's already, like, plenty of marketplace packs that can do that. And I don't want to, like, reinvent the wheel. And so I think if I just have some animation poses and support for like playing certain animations, then you should be able to kind of hook that up for your project. But yeah, exactly. It should be down to the person who uses the system. I mean, like, yeah, you're gonna need to do it differently based on your game. So if I handle weapon logic one way, you might want to do it another way, and then it's just a mess. So I think if I keep it simple, yeah, and just use the, just have some animation poses, then you can you can figure out how that's going to work within your game, like how you want those to be, how you want the animations to trigger. You know what I mean? That'll have to come down to you. But a combo system using state machines. Yeah, I mean, you could do a combo system using state machines. I mean, you could do, like, yeah, I don't know. So, like, the best thing I could do is just kind of provide an example of what to do. You know, this isn't necessarily the best way of doing it. It's just one way of doing it. So, yeah. Let's see. The new Blue Man guy. It's just a. I got tired of the mannequin, so I just wanted a different mesh. But it's just a mesh. So there you go. There's the mannequin. Same thing. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of like this other character though. Oh, another thing that's cool. I don't know why I didn't share this yet. So basically, I have these data tables that can change the movement model to like responsive or sluggish. And since it's all code driven, like the animation stays the same. So I can have like a tight camera model and a responsive movement, so I can have like more of a third-person shooter, you know, that's much more responsive. Or like, you know, like depending on the game type, like you might want a whole bunch, like a completely different feel to your movement. So you can kind of change those things. And it's all just set up in data tables. So if I wanted like the responsive sprint speed to be like, I don't know, 1500 or something ridiculous. Then, yeah. Yeah, you can still switch the camera. So one thing I do have to do is kind of edit the foot locking for the more responsive movement, simply because when it blends out, the character is moving so fast that the feet kind of stretch. So yeah, that's one thing I do have to kind of change. But then again, I mean, like, you can just do that for your game. I mean, like, you might have to set up some blend times to work better for your movement, so and then one thing I'm doing too is that I can use curves to have like different kinds of acceleration based on the speed. I'm not going to explain that now, but that's something that's going to be in the next system. So it's all kind of curve driven, like the rotation rates and all that kind of stuff. It's all through curves. That way it's easy to kind of tweak them. So yeah, so if I wanted like the walk speed to be like 300, the run for like 500, and now he walks really fast and jogs fast, sprints even faster. Obviously it looks pretty weird because the animations are like normal people can't walk this fast, but disable the camera shake. Is that what? Hold on. Turn off camera shake on sprint. I mean, so there's an event within the character blueprint. You just do that, and now you don't have any more camera shake. So I think I have it within a animation notify in version 3. So you could just, you know, delete those notifies from the animation, or I don't know, just delete that logic. Yeah. Let's see, I'm gonna go back and okay. So yeah, that's one thing that I'm gonna have. That should make it pretty easy to kind of like switch out the movement for different characters and stuff like that, or just kind of design the movement to fit your game. You know, hopefully that the system's flexible enough that it can kind of support what you need it to do. But yeah. test that later. I'm trying to think if there's anything I can show. Because soon I'm gonna have to stop the stream. Because there's some other things I need to do today. Well, I mean, okay, so Marcel, if I'm saying the name right, I mean, like, so the movement, you can change all of that. It shouldn't be that hard. Like, version 3 can have responsive movement if you just tweak some variables. What I was doing here is just showing off that you can store things in data tables and then easily switch it out. Um, so in version 3, like, if you wanted more responsive movement, you could just tweak the acceleration values and increase the speeds. It's all data driven, so the animation should still work. So yeah, like, it's up to you to kind of create that for your game. I can't do everything, and I can't make the system work right out of the box for everyone. So uh, yeah. Nope, the new system's not replicated yet. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, what does climbing look like in first person? Um, Not the best. Simply because there's no dedicated first person animations, so it's kind of hard to see what's going on. But I mean, it still works. It just, you don't really see the hands as much as you do in like a first person game. Let's see if those transitions work now. Yeah, that's a lot better. I just have to make sure the feet never stretch. Speaking of replication, there is a bug in the engine where replicated variables with condition of skip owner is not working. Oh boy. I'll have to look into that. I haven't really touched replication for this new version yet. I was thinking about like hiring a programmer who's good at replication stuff. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that would be better to do in C++. I'm kind of limited because, for one, I'm not a programmer, so I'm not really that good with code. And secondly, if I do anything in C++, it's going to limit the amount of people who can use it on the marketplace. So as long as I keep everything in Blueprint, it'll be more accessible to everyone, and then people can kind of move things to C++ where they need to if they know how to do that. Another animation for idle when you have the gun and you're not aiming. I mean, I do have this animation when you have a gun and you're not aiming. But if you want to see something interesting, like, let's see here. Just go into Maya real quick. Let's see. I'm just gonna do something weird just to show off what you can do. That's good enough. No, wait a minute. Oh, wait, hold on. I did not update. Here we go. Okay, so yeah, so for different like poses for weapons and stuff, let's see here. It's pretty easy to add in different poses. Let's see. Re-import with new source. So now I have this new animation here. And then if I wanted, could just have this on. Let me just test this out real quick. So now after a certain amount of time, well, let's see. I need to disable the left arm IK. There we go. So now it's just going to play on the right arm. So now after a few seconds, blend into a different pose there. You know, you could just layer it right on that arm, so you can still have all the locomotion stuff. Actually, I want this to be in local space, so yeah, now it's in local space, so now it'll have a little bit better movement. Yeah, I mean, it still uses all the same kind of locomotion, so yeah, if you want different poses for the guns and stuff like that, it's not too difficult. You know, it's just a matter of setting up the curve values and making sure they blend together nicely. And even if, like, let's see, another cool thing is, like, so say I were to change the feet. Well, I think it'll work. Actually, let me just make them close together so you can just see. I think, actually no, I need to add in one more thing. So now you see the feet are close together. And you can still work, you know, it still works with the stopping animations because the feet got locked. So it's pretty easy to, like, add in a whole new pose and have everything kind of blend together. Where did I learn to do all of this? I'm self-taught. So I learned to do all of this in my basement. Just, yeah. Make him meditate while spinning the rifle. I mean, yeah, I could do that. Take a while, though. But yeah, so it's like, it's kind of completely up to you on how you want to make those poses and stuff like that. And obviously this was super quick, but, you know. What about this in first person? So, I mean, yeah, it works in first person. Obviously, you know, the animations aren't made for a first person camera, so like you can't really see the hands. But do I want to work in a game studio eventually? Maybe someday. I don't know. I'm in no rush. Um, let's see. Aim offset on the arms, yes. Oh, actually, no. If I enable the aim offset on the arms, I might get some weird results. If I have this. Let me just try it. Do I have a day job? No, actually. I mean, so the money that I've made from the locomotion system has actually been enough to support me over the year. So, yeah. Working in a big team can be quite rewarding. Yeah, sure. Definitely can. But, you know, again, you know, the bigger the studio, the bigger the team, all that kind of stuff, the less creative freedom you have in, you know, working on the project. You know, you're working towards someone else's design, and that, you know, some people just don't like that as much. Make a tutorial on the Art V1 workflow. I mean, there's already tutorials out there for that. You know, I just followed those tutorials and stuff like that. Do what you do what you have fun doing for a living and be creative. Yep, that's pretty much it. I'm not working on a game right now, but hopefully I will be soon. Once I get version 4 out and then finish the climbing system. Actually, the whole reason I got started working on animation and that kind of stuff is because I had this idea for a sword fighting game. And it's been kind of in my head for like 6 or 7 years. And so that's what I'm going to start working on after I finish the marketplace stuff. Yeah, I could do tutorials. I don't know. I'm just not that good with making tutorials or anything like that. Um, so, I don't know. We'll see, I guess. I think I was going to do something here. Let me see here. But yeah, so in terms of like adding in different weapon poses and having them layer all together, it shouldn't be that hard. You know, just for the rifle, I have a few basic poses. And then, you know, just they're all in different states. And then they blend together with animation curves on top of the locomotion and stuff like that. So for falling, right, I have like 2 different poses here. You can see those. And so, you know, when the character's falling, I blend into those poses. And then, you know, back into that pose. So. Learn more from me in my barely awake state. Oh man. Well, I guess that's kind of flattering. But I mean, all this stuff is just, I mean, it's just trial and error, and it's just thinking through things, right? Like it's just basic design and iteration and that kind of thing. You know, you have to like dedicate the time to learn and just figure things out. Um, it's kind of like so. My philosophy is that everything has a barrier to entry, right? Like if you want to play like a musical instrument, you're not just going to be able to pick it up in a day. It takes years of practice to learn and grow. And you can't just watch a YouTube tutorial on how to play an instrument and then be good at it. All that will get you is just like some not even basics of the instrument. You're just kind of like faking your knowledge. Um, and I think right now we're kind of living in like a tutorial culture, right? Where the software is pretty much free. Like it's a free game engine, and everyone has all these grand ideas and making all these games. But a lot of people are just kind of expecting tutorials on how to do everything, and that's just not how it works. Like so, so yeah, I've kind of steered away from making any sort of tutorials because I understand how that would go. You know what I mean? I'd make a tutorial and then I'd have, 100 comments like, oh, how do you do this or how do you do that? And it's like, well, you just kind of have to learn sometimes on your own. So, yeah. Um, yeah, so I'm trying to like stay clear of any sort of tutorial culture where, you know, yeah, first person animations would, I mean, like, yeah, like most first person games that are dedicated for first person, they have custom first person animations that are animated to the first person camera. So, let's see, what was I doing? I don't think I was doing much of anything anymore, actually. I just want to see how this works. I'm going to stress test this system real quick. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh. There we go. Just for fun. So now he's super low. I don't know why, but it works. So. So yeah, my goal is to kind of make everything working really easily with just some simple poses and transitions. So. Obviously the crouching won't work with that, but I would have to change that. So. Yeah, anyway. Enough of that. Man, I'm really tired. Alright, so I think I'm gonna end the stream. Again, this is just like my first stream, just to kind of test things out. I didn't have a plan. So, yeah, maybe I'll do some more in the future, like schedule like once a week to kind of like, you know, show off what I did in that week to keep me motivated. Yeah, let me know on the Discord. I think I shared the link in the Discord in the description. So just kind of let me know, what you want from the stream and stuff like that. Because I found that like even doing this, it's hard to stay focused when I'm working and trying to answer questions and stuff like that. So I think maybe if I just do a stream to kind of show off what I've done in that week, that might be better. So yeah, just kind of let me know. Yeah. And thanks for thanks for watching. I know this was kind of all over the place, and there wasn't like a lot that I did. So, yeah. All right. So I guess that's pretty much it. Thanks for the feedback, and sorry I didn't get to answer all of your questions in the comments. It's kind of hard to get around to everything, but yeah. I don't know if I'll upload the stream. I mean, maybe I will. I think I probably will. Maybe not this one though. So, maybe if I get on like a regular schedule, then I will upload these streams. Okay, yeah. Upload. Yeah, a lot of people wanted to upload, so. Okay, yeah. I guess I can upload it then. I might make a playlist on my YouTube channel or something like that. All right. Well, I guess that settles it then. I don't know how I'll upload this, but hopefully I'll be able to. Okay, so, hey, thank you. All right. Well, I'm gonna go have breakfast, even though it's 5 in the afternoon. So, thanks for watching. See you guys.